We have 𝗪𝗔, D-Wave, Nvidia, NIO, and Tesla, 𝗬𝗎𝗓𝗔, and Rigetti. The top 6 traded by volume. This is not normal. Sony, Palantir, Intel, Lucid, Exxon, Xpeng, IonQ, again, not normal. KE Holdings, 𝗢𝗡𝗍𝗍𝗍. Sarepta, we bought a tiny bit on their safety problem. UP Fintech, Grab Holdings, Amazon, Tilray, Robinhood, Alibaba, Baidu, and Meta, all doing what you would expect. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if quantum kind of rallies a little bit, just because there's so many animals in these stocks. You know, could be all over. It could be, you know, just more vol. I added a couple more stocks to it just to. I added Salesforce and AbbVie. Do you look Comcast for a 50% gain from here? Well, I didn't say I liked Comcast in the first place, so the second part of your question doesn't make any sense. I don't like Comcast, so. All right, so this is the 318 session. Actually a very nice profit day. One of the funny ARBs that does exist is the 4 o'clock ARB. Traders sometimes do have to go home, in other words, at the bell at 4, without any exposure. So typically, if you're just willing to hold overnight, you get paid, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. It's not so much, it's more about just the continuation. So if you're expecting mean reversion and you don't get it by 4 p.m., you might just get it tomorrow. All right, I don't know if you guys bought my Sarepta trade, but I think I'm going to buy more. Sarepta announced a side effect problem, but that side effect problem is really not really that relevant. It's a sad story, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure the stock should be down this much. And it looks like it's rallying. I mean, yes, quite a dump here that looked maybe like capitulation has been put in, but who knows? Maybe we buy some call options. What do you guys think? Sarepta, this will be wild. The Sarepta 80s. And the Sarepta 75s? Oh yeah, we don't do level 3 ADRs, so we will have OTC later, and then we'll also have local shares. That's a London company. So, I mean, I would trade it where the liquidity is in London. Wow, S&P down 1.17%, I just blinked. Nvidia's down 4%. Kind of interesting is quantum's not really getting worse, which I think is kind of telling. I think it's getting much worse. I don't think the animal spirits are all dead yet. It's a commercial drug, so one patient dying is really, I mean, it's terrible. This is a childhood disease. Nobody wants to see that, but it's just not that uncommon in medicine, sadly. People die all the time in medicine for no reason. It's a shame, but it is not atypical. Well, you know, in this disease, they're not supposed to die of liver failure, to be clear, so it's a little strange. But these drugs tend to have that side effect. They're known to have that side effect. So it's a little bit... I mean, they've done their trials. We know what the safety profile of the drug basically is. I forgot I have AbbVie now. AbbVie has joined the market-making list. And Salesforce, welcome Salesforce. Yeah, look, I don't disagree that the drug kind of doesn't work, but you can't take, I guess the point here is that you can't take, I guess if the patient was 16, that's sort of already kind of tells you something, that it may not be applicable to children. But you can't take other things you don't like about Sarepta and assign them here, like, oh yeah, the drug doesn't work. Well, that's not what's on trial today. CMV doesn't usually present with tons of liver disease, so... right here. But I think the bigger thing is like, pharma's weird, man. You'll get the craziest side effects will happen. Nature of the beast, oligos are known to have that. In DMD, you're dying, you're going to die. So I don't think these patients really care about the side effects. This is 1 person out of thousands who have gotten the drug, so I'm not saying it's good news. It's just something where, you know, it's not some shocking thing. These are really sick people, man. But, you know, do your thing, man. Go short it, you know? Let me know how it goes. Trade against me. Go ahead. Make my day. Efficiency? You mean efficacy. What does that have to do with side effects? There is no effective drug for that disease anyway. You need a timeout. Let's go, Sarepta, almost 80. Try to be as specific as possible. It's hard to have a conversation like this. I would say 85 or 90 for Sarepta. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Think of trading or investing or Wall Street as MMA.
partially filled.
You know, why would you sign up to fight a very good MMA fighter? You want to go in the ring with Conor McGregor? Yeah, I'd love that.
Order filled.
That's what you do every time you open up a trading account, unfortunately. Yo, Google's paying a lot for Wiz. That's why people are hesitant about Google, I guess. We got some binaries coming up. PCVX. Should we look at these? Try to find our next question. Thank you. Godel is extremely affordable for what it is. We are going to be raising prices soon, so lock in your lifetime price guarantee today. I actually want to end this lifetime price guarantee thing. Okay, I'm going to look at another large cap. I just set up the poll. We got Hermes, the fashion company, 𝗕𝗓𝗏, Chinese's beverage company, General Electric, and Morgan Stanley. So you tell me what to look at, and I'll be happy to dive in.
Order partially filled.
Andy, we will, Andy.
Order
Any day now. Sarepta, rocking and rolling. Let's go. I need that.
Order cancelled.
Okay, so you want to look at GE. What's the first step? Go to Godel, hit the backtick key that's left of your one key. So you click backtick and you're in this nice terminal. Don't let it scare you. Type GE, press F8, and then type CF and hit enter. CF stands for company filings. I'm going to open the latest 10K. Okay, so we have 1 billion shares outstanding here. It's a $200 stock, so that's a 216 billion market cap. Wasn't GE like a single stock at some point? Futures are coming any day now. We've signed a lot of deals with data providers, so stay tuned. So basically GE Aerospace is just engines. We are recruiting. 𝗙𝗏𝗘𝗀 is an API provider. GE is competitive in engines, I'll tell you that. We used to offer the product for $20 a month, and those users are grandfathered in, but we subsequently raised to 40 and 60, so we're about to raise to 80, and then it'll probably end up around 200 is my guess. It also sort of depends on tiering and or the kind of data we're giving to each, data and services that we're giving to each different customer. Well, turbines and engines are different, right? Or are they not different? Looks like servicing is their biggest business. So GE margins on aerospace are 37%. Pretty interesting. This is definitely a weird income statement. Yeah, I guess the big question is, will they keep growing? S&P down 1.23 basis points. Hard for me to imagine GE will, it seems like to me the turnaround may be done. Yeah, so the question is it all engines, Juan? Yeah, markets are very irrational right now, which is good and bad. I don't know, GE looks a little expensive, but not too crazy. No, it had a bit of a reversal, but it carried well into the next day. I think there is that end of day arbitrage where a lot of traders have to get out by the end of the day. They don't want so-called overnight risk. So if you are willing to take the overnight risk, I think you get rewarded the next day. That's a pretty common theme, and same thing with weekends. There used to be a huge weekend bias. Quants have kind of corrected that, but yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea, right? You get paid to take risk. Remember AI's, remember their conference call? Do you remember? Their conference call was just as bad?
And so we need a new line of computers. And
I'm telling you, they did this with the earnings call, if you guys remember.
Next, let's go somewhere else. Let's go talk about robotics, shall we? Let's talk about robots. Well, the time has come. The time has come for robots. Robots have the benefit of being able to interact with the physical world and do things that otherwise digital information cannot. Today, we're introducing NVIDIA Isaac GR00T N1. GR00T N1 is a generalist foundation model for humanoid robots. It's built on the foundations of synthetic data generation and learning in simulation. GR00T N1 features a dual system architecture for thinking fast and slow, inspired by principles of human cognitive processing. The slow thinking system lets the robot perceive and reason about its environment and instructions. and plan the right actions to take. The fast-thinking system translates the plan into precise and continuous robot actions.
Well, somebody died in the Sarepta trial, and in medicine, people do die sometimes. It is a terrible tragedy for the family, but don't think it is really that big of a deal to the stock. People with Duchenne muscular dystrophy do die. I hope people understand that. That is normal. They get organ failure. Like, it is literally their destiny. They have never survived. The quantum's going to be pretty volatile for a while, but the general pattern of these charts will be down. 𝗍𝗂's filling the gap as we speak. They'll be back to teens very soon. I mean, Nvidia taking quantum seriously is definitely not the message that we thought we'd get, and it sort of tells you what he might say on Friday, or Thursday, I should say. You think it's bearish? That Nvidia's, if they're really going to be jumping into quantum, okay, they're giving them GPUs. It doesn't look like they're jumping into quantum, but I mean, it does look like Jensen's changing his mind. Quantum computing will augment AI supercomputers to tackle some of the world's most important problems. We know D-Wave, nothing's going to happen to D-Wave. It's also kind of like a different market regime. Like, it doesn't feel like a pumping market as much as it was before. Save his business. What does that mean? Yeah, I think the stocks will go up. I think D-Wave is like the one I would short if it rallies. And then Quantinium is kind of IonQ's competitor, so this is kind of not good for Quantinium. Front run the Koreans. Nvidia is saying they're going to make a quantum center. They're doing a quantum center. Well, I will say this. If these stocks don't rally on this, it's like the greatest short ever. Because that's good news. Let me be clear. That is good news. But everyone who wants to buy IonQ and D-Wave and Rigetti is already in it. But like, these stocks should be up 10% or something. Like, they should not be down. Like, this is the arch nemesis. This is Nvidia saying, yeah, we'll do a little quantum. I mean, they're not getting into quantum. They are kind of working with a quantum company. So if they said, we are going to make a QPU, that would be more bullish. Instead, they're saying, we're going to give Quantinium a whole bunch of GPUs. For what? I don't know. Now, they do deals like this all the time where, like, they get paid in equity. It's just downright weird. Like, oh, you want GPUs? Oh, you want a GPU? I'm stupefied. Like, QMCO went up, and it's not a quantum company, right? But here you have Nvidia doing the quantum center. It's literally called Nvidia Quantum Research Center. I don't want these stocks to go up, but like, that would seem to be bullish. It's not payday. What are the backies saying? Yeah, maybe it's because Farcoin's down and like just people don't want to gamble. Well, I think the funniest thing is because they're doing it with literally the two private companies. I guess this is what my contact said was going to happen. The two private companies that are not publicly traded, that are the kind of, QEra is the leader in annealers, and Quantinium is the leader in ion traps. So for IonQ and D-Wave, it's kind of bearish that, Nvidia chose to work with these companies. If they worked with, the IonQ and D-Wave, those stocks would double. So when the presentation happens on Thursday, Jensen's going to be like, we announced a quantum research center with QEra and Quantinium, and they're going to be like, the CEO is going to be like, yeah, that's us. That's us. And the IonQ CEO is going to be like, They called Rigetti, but the CEO said, define partnership. I don't know. The press release just came out. They would have put, they're not doing anything with IonQ. Yeah, these stocks are selling off. I don't know if it's bullish or bearish. Nvidia is doing the Nvidia Accelerated Quantum Research Center. But if you parse it really carefully, okay, it's not the Nvidia Research Center. It's not the Nvidia Quantum Research Center. It is the Nvidia Accelerated Quantum Research Center. Look, if it were me and I was a pumper, I'd be running with this. Look, Nvidia changed their mind. They're doing quantum. If they weren't bullish on quantum, they would not have anything to do with it. But I wouldn't spin it. Acknowledge that a big reason for the sell-off was Nvidia said quantum is so long away, and then you have a quote from Jensen saying it's not. IonQ just put out a press release. I'm just so used to anything bullish just running these stocks up, right? Anything. I mean, this was a surprise, right? This isn't a sell the news. We didn't know this was happening, right? We had no clue. They were going to have, they're creating the Nvidia Accelerated Quantum Center with Quantinuum and Q-Era. They're not creating it with IonQ or D-Wave. I like the no buyers left thesis. There's no buyers left and no shorts to squeeze. Other than the rumor I heard, I don't think there was an assumption that there would be press releases. I think there was an assumption. Yeah, exactly. Pluto, I'm thinking exactly what Pluto's thinking. We could get a delayed reaction. But yeah, the markets usually move by now. This is baggy logic. Like, this is objectively good news. It's not like amazing news or anything. It'd be amazing news if they did it with IonQ or did it with Rigetti or D-Wave. That'd be amazing news. But it's objectively good news. Like, not bad, right? But it's baggy logic. They're like, so Nvidia's dipping a toe into quantum. They're not dipping it with the three public. Yeah, it should be enough, Epic. I agree. Just having Nvidia and quantum in the same sentence in a corporate press release, that should be like, what? And it was, yeah, Jensen who popped the bubble. I think if they don't rally on this, it's all over. It kind of shows you how the market's wound up, too. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Yeah, it's bullish and bearish. I agree. Well, Nvidia's not saying they're going to do quantum, but the quote in there from Jensen says that quantum will help AI. That's a big deal. If we read the Jensen quote, read the Jensen quote. He said AI will help quantum. Let's read it again. Jensen says, quantum computing will augment AI supercomputers to tackle some of the world's most important problems. I don't know that that matters, Drax. I mean, I'd short it if it rallies. I don't think he's going to say 20 years if he's literally unveiling the Nvidia Quantum Center. And when he does that on stage, what would that be, Thursday? I would imagine they might go up on that. The way we can look at it is just follow the price action. Like, if it can't pump on that, then I think that, you know, you're looking at a really ugly situation. It's just fascinating. Like, it's not stress, it's just confusion. They move on fake news, no news, misinterpreted news, the wrong tickers. The companies that don't do quantum go up. And now you get some real news and it's like, oh, go back to sleep. Where are the Koreans? I'll put it this way. If they don't rally on this, we're going straight to zero. Because there's nothing else that can be bullish. You got Quantum Nvidia Day. We thought nothing was going to happen. If you told me last week that Jensen would announce the Nvidia Quantum Research Center at GTC on Quantum Day, I'd say, close your eyes, how much would the stocks be up? I'd be like 30%, 50%. But the devil's in the details. He's doing it with the three companies that are not even public. I'm just trying to think it through. I don't think this stream is going to change the stock price. This is the most traded stock in the stock market, these 3 or 4 stocks. That's the part that scares me. In the press release, he says, quantum computing will augment AI supercomputers to tackle some of the world's most important problems, said Jensen Huang. I mean, that's an endorsement. I don't like to hear it as a short, but that is an endorsement. Such a weird thing to do, too. Well, quantum's 30 years away. It says quantum will augment AI to tackle some of the world's most important problems. I don't think you have anything to worry about. I mean, the fact that the stocks have not gone up yet is so bearish. That is so bearish. If this can't make the stocks go up, what can? Right? That's called market tone. If you told me that Jensen Huang would create the Nvidia Quantum Research Center and these stocks would be down. What? It's over. You know how much pain we took for like the dumbest news, like not news. Stocks would just go up for no reason. And finally, the biggest guy in the world says, yeah, let's do the Quantum Research Center. I think the baggies are kind of caught because they're like, well, we're all loaded up already. We can't buy anymore. Yeah, the Busan train station partnership. Quantinuum already put out their press release. It's definitely not time to buy quantum stocks. You got to call it like you see it. When D-Wave put out their $15 million purchase, you can't be a pig about it. You got to be intellectually honest. But if you take real news, real positive news, and then nobody cares, or maybe they're saying, well, why isn't it IonQ? Why isn't it Rigetti? Why isn't it D-Wave? And I think that the reality is they can join this quantum research center, but the only thing Nvidia has to do with this quantum research center is they're throwing, some GPUs there. Well, Nvidia's not, Nvidia's given some GPUs away. It doesn't cost them much money to make them, right? So, and he's going to mention this on actual quantum day. Yeah, I could see that too, Charlie, but what does joining this thing even mean? I too want free Nvidia computers. Like, yeah, that range economy. I mean, the cost to Nvidia is, $5 million. I mean, everything I've been taught about trading is like, if there's good news and the stock won't go up, it's over. Because usually you get over-exaggerated news, right? When there's good news and the stock goes up too much, you kind of get, that's a bull market. When there's good news and the stock goes down, that means everyone's trying to sell the stock and everyone's long and there's no hope. It's Jover. Everything we know about quantum's like, if there was good news, it would run. I don't think the Koreans are that crazy that they would be that different from the US. There's plenty of US bag holders. I'm not sure that's going to make a difference. I don't think the Korean thing is a meme. I just think they will follow the US price action. They're not going to do anything too crazy that's different from the US price action. When there's good news and the stock goes down, it's like the worst situation of all, because it just means that everyone, the Wall Street is positioned long and everyone's looking to, basically get out the exits. And if you can't spin this into something positive, I don't know what you're going to do. Jensen said quantum is useful. Literally, Jensen Huang said quantum is useful. The stocks were at 50. Now he's bullish. They should be at 100. That's what I'd be saying. No, it just means that there's no pump left. People are ready to move on from these stocks. Does everyone know IonQ is basically committing fraud, switching their business model? Even the bulls aren't. I mean, some of the bulls are delusional, but even the bulls see that. Yeah, no, it was a normal GTC for all the normal stuff. It's just for people focused on quantum, this press release has a quote from Jensen that is bullish on quantum. Last time he said something bearish on quantum, they went down 50%. Now he's bullish on quantum and they're not going down.